If I were brave, what would I do today? If I were brave, what would I do today? If I were brave, what would I do today? If I were brave.
Welcome to Women of Courage, where you will hear the stories of courageous women. Women from all walks of life who have faced significant challenges along the path of their life journey. Women who have tapped into their inner resources and found the courage to confront, to overcome, and to triumph. I'm Ann Miner, your host for the show, and my guests have all agreed to share their experiences so others may learn from them. It is my hope that these stories will inspire you, that knowing you are not alone in facing the bumpy road of life, you will be motivated to keep moving, that you will take action and courageously pursue your own dreams and passions, no matter what obstacles are presented along the way. Just as our women of courage have won over their challenges, you can too. Stay with us. We'll be back with today's Women of Courage in just a moment.
If I were brave.
Looking for an all-access pass to the Major League Baseball games you want to watch? Rogers Super Sports Pack has you covered. With MLB Extra Innings, you'll have a premium ticket to up to 85 out-of-market regular season games each week, with up to 50 in HD. Catch all the action from the games you want from both the American and National Leagues. MLB Extra Innings, part of the Rogers Super Sports Pack. For only $36.31 a month, you get all this, including a subscription to Sportsnet magazine. Order through your remote or call 1-888-ROGERS-1 today.
Hello, I'm Dave McKenzie, Member of Parliament for Oxford. Canada Day is a time for young and old alike to come together and celebrate their common Canadian identity. This Canada Day, I hope you take the time to enjoy your family and friends and take part in the many festivities celebrating our great and glorious country. On behalf of Canada's government, I would like to extend my best wishes to you and your family for a safe and happy Canada Day.
We're taking strides to make a difference, to show we care. Strides for change.
In communities across this country, MAD Canada hosts Strides for Change, an annual 5K walkathon and wheelchair event. Help raise awareness to stop impaired driving and raise funds to support the victims of this violent crime. So join the fun. Together, we can make a change.
We're taking strides to make a difference. Strides for change.
Visit stridesforchange.ca.
What would I do today if I were brave?
I'm here today with Freda Ranter, and I'm so pleased that you've agreed to join us today, Freda, and share your story so that others can learn from it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, why don't you start at the beginning, Freda?
Well, yes, it did actually start from the very beginning. When I was born, my mom had me as a cesarean. They cut too deep, and they ended up cutting my back. So I still have the scar today. When I was growing up, my mom would always show her friends, you know, the scar on my back, so they would lift up the top, and every time.
So that meant that she couldn't pick you up and hold you.
That's correct.
Right away when you were born. Huh?
Yeah, and then before you get that attention from people, but then afterwards it got kind of lame. But then my story progresses from there. When I was 3 years old, we lived on a dairy farm at that time. We were driving down the road on the tractor. I was with my dad all the time, always with my father. But I was sitting on the fender of the tractor, and the road became really bumpy. So then I tried to reach for my dad because I couldn't hang on anymore. And what happened was the tractor ran right over my midriff, right over top of me. So then he picked me up, he ran back, picked me up off the ground and threw me in the seat, and then he screamed right away home. I ended up in the hospital for 9 months to recuperate. And I ended up becoming a miracle child. Mm-hmm. And they never thought that I could walk, but today I'm walking through the grace of God. I got,
We can see that.
That was really a huge challenge, because then I was away from my family for that long and learning how to walk and that all over again. So that was a huge hurdle.
That must have been tough for your parents. Your mom had 4 other children at home, and your
That's
dad
correct.
had the farm to look after,
Yes.
and their youngest daughter away in the hospital.
And I was in London, you know, when they were in Woodstock, so, and having only one vehicle. So, overcoming that part, then a different journey started in my life. When we would have people come over, we had actually this one couple that came over. He was a teacher, an art teacher at Mohawk College, and I was intrigued. When I was 5 years old, I was intrigued by his art, you know, designing and that, and I, you know, picked up on it. I would sit on his lap, but then his touches became different, or something that I wasn't used to anymore, and I didn't know how to handle that sort of stuff. But then as the years went on, it became worse.
So that started when you were 5, didn't it?
Correct. That happened, and then I ended up having to sleep in the hall, so he would have to pass my bed at nighttime. So then that's when, whenever he would come by, then I would tighten my pajamas up really tight, and you know, because I didn't like him touching me. And then he would say, "Don't worry, no one will tell you. You know, no one will know. You know, it's our secret."
You can't tell.
Yeah, and they won't believe you anyway. So I had to deal with that and trying to hold that emotion as a young person. It's really, really difficult. So, stop. I just got to just break there because I too much and air.
So breathe.
After that point, that continued on for several years. The thing what happened was I would go to a Christian school. My parents were a Christian family, went to church twice. We'd
Twice on Sunday, right?
Twice on Sunday.
Yes.
Sorry, and we read the Bible, all that sort of thing. And I really appreciated that as I got older. But knowing what had happened to me before made me feel like I was tarnished. You know, I wasn't good enough, you know, going into a Christian high school or going to a Christian school, and thinking people would know that I'm dirty, and I didn't want them to know that. So from that point, my friends went to the London Christian High School where I thought I was unworthy at that point. Then I ended up going to Cass. So
Now, remind me, what is Cass?
Cass is a college out of secondary school. It's a high school, sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Then the worst thing that could possibly ever happen. You're in a new school, you have, you know, trying to make friends and that sort of thing. One night I was walking home to my grandmother's house. It was late at night. Had to go through downtown, and there was a bunch of guys that were standing there, and I recognized them from school. So I was, you know, thought that was kind of cool. And they said, "Well, I'll help you walk you to your grandmother's house," the 3 of them. So I thought, well, the one guy was kind of cute, so you just think that's kind of, you know, it's fun, you know, thank you very much. But then they had a different agenda on their plate. We get to Southside Park, where they had the willow trees, and then they proceeded to...
Okay, breathe.
Then they proceeded to rape me. 2 guys would hold me down while the other guy started doing all these things, and I'm screaming, you know, telling them to stop, calling for help. And when I'm looking around, then I see the other guys that were following, lurking in the dark behind the trees, watching me and not even doing anything. It was totally humiliating. I was totally felt, how do you describe it? Lost, empty, dirty, everything else. And then I had to go to school and face them the next day. You know,
And you never told anyone what happened?
You know what? Because they says, well, you're beautiful, you deserve it. You know, you're asking for it. So when you're beautiful, then that's what they expect, you know? And I didn't know how to confront that sort of thing. Then you hear the whispers later on, and you hear what the gossip or what the rumor is, and then I ended up having a name. And that was totally heart-wrenching. I can't even say what it is on TV because it's just, I'll just say the first 2 words, and that's it: Freda Free Fudgesicle. And that was really hard to take, and I hated school from there. At that point, landing up having an abortion when I was in high school, just those things just robs and just rips your soul out, you know, and it just breaks you totally down. You feel like no decent guy will want to date you or anything like that if they find out what the truth is. So what happens then, you're in a relationship, you sabotage your relationship one after another, and you don't know how to cope with it. So if you feel, you know what, God must be against me because all these bad things are happening. So I hated going to church. I hated it. I would hide under the bed, and my dad, when I was younger, even then, you know, I would hide under the church or under the bed, not wanting to go to church, and would think God had abandoned me. That's how I felt. And I felt different, felt humiliated. Just these things when you're going through your teenage years, you're supposed to have the wonderful years in your life, but it's not. Mm-hmm. Then I end up getting engaged. So, made my own wedding dress at that time at the age of 19. I made my own wedding dress. And as I'm making it, I thought, I can't marry this person. And all the plans were made. The turkeys and roast beef was cooked. And the day of the wedding, I finally went to my dad and I said, I can't go through. So he says, that's fine. He says, you know what, we're gonna have a hot bowl of roast beef sandwiches for the next 3 months. So he says, Mom, you're off the hook for cooking. So that was kind of funny at that point. So he had a very good sense of humor. I thought that he would be angry with me, but he was really supportive, and we really connected at that point, my father and I. We would have many major discussions, and he was a really big impact on me. So I would have one, you know, then I got married. I was pregnant again, got married, because then that's what you're supposed to do, mm-hmm. to a really, you know, a really nice guy, you know, the love of my life finally. And, you know, that was a difficult challenge too at that point.
Mm-hmm. And so you had 2 children from that marriage.
Yes, I did. They were my daughter, my firstborn, and my son. They really changed my life and my perspective of life at that point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well,
we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more of Freda's story.
If I were brave.
Dear fellow Canadians, we are fortunate for so many reasons to call this great country, Canada, our home. We have a country of abundant resources and noble heritage, a country where people of all backgrounds are given both the tools and the opportunities to flourish, a country that serves as a model of freedom, harmony, and prosperity the world over. While we reflect on what makes Canada the best country to live, work, and raise a family, we must in the same breath extend our deepest thanks to our men and women in uniform who keep us safe, who represent us so well, and who inspire us with their sense of duty. Today, as we celebrate the 146th anniversary of Confederation, let us declare with glowing hearts that we are first, foremost, and always Canadians. On behalf of my family, Lorene, Ben, and Rachel, and on behalf of the Government of Canada, I wish each and every one of you a very happy Canada Day.
What step would I take today if I were brave?
Welcome back. We're here with Freda Ranter, and you're just going to pick up your story from now. You're married, you have 2 children.
Correct. When with my children actually changed me at that point, because finally I did something right. I created something positive, beautiful finally, eh? But still inside I had that doubt, that self-abuse that I would do you know, that you have in yourself, that you're no good. You're trying to do the best you can. I'm not worthy of being in this marriage. It was one pivotal point in my life was when my husband and I at that time, we went to this one course from his work. It was called Peak Performance Training Program, and it helped to be self-evaluate to help you become a better person. And it started off to say that you are responsible. I am responsible for my own actions. I have to choose what is going to impact my life at that point. So I thought I was doing things the right way. So I was heading in the right direction, but then I still didn't know how to take care of my past issues, and I didn't know how to do that. At that point, then, my marriage dissolved again. So I'm left being a single mom, 2 children, having 3 jobs, because my main job I was doing, the plant closed down. I was making $24 an hour, ended up losing that, and then starting back to basics, $10. I drained all my savings because I wanted my children to have the best life they can without struggling. So I made sure they still did their hockey, did everything. So as a parent, you want the best for your children. At that point, I thought, you know, I wanted to do more. And then every time, the other person that really impacted my life at that point was Karen Cruz Ventura. Mm-hmm. I bumped into her. I actually met her when we first doing Alouette many, many years ago. And I kept in contact with her throughout the years. And just her gratefulness, her attitude, positive attitude, really helped me change my attitude and my perspective in life. So that's when things started to change. And then when I was doing my seamstress work, I did that as a part-time job to help make ends meet. Then the people that I helped do their dresses and making them picture perfect and helping them out, and then people got to know me as, wow, Freda the seamstress, she's really good, you got to go to her. Mm-hmm. That label changed from being that negative that I had in high school to what I had now, helped heal me. So then my passion for sewing just came back. Mm-hmm. You know, my passion for art, my drawing, it all started to come back slowly. The other pivotal point was when I did go through my divorce, I went to the minister, and then, you know, I told him my story, and he says, Freda, you know what, you have to share this with people, because there's more people that are going through this and they need to hear what you're doing. So that was my big giant. I went in front of the church, you know, and I did that, and I was totally humbled by people calling me and telling me their stories, letters that I had. I never knew that it was that much of an impact, that I helped so many people, that, you know, that helped them move forward from where they were. And that was really, really, really huge, you know. The other pivotal point in my life was actually my father, because he kept on telling me different things. He would say to me, life is too short to be miserable. And it's true, you know, if you're miserable, you know, you're not becoming the true person that you really are. The other huge one was with him saying, you know, he had to overcome his giant also. And he had forgiven somebody that really done him really wrong. Like it was huge. So I said to him, I says, why did you do that? You know, I couldn't understand it. And he says, who am I that I cannot forgive? You know, if God can forgive, why can't I? And he says, and that will help you, free you to become a better person. And that's what really, really impacted me on that point, to the point where actually I went back to my high school guy, and it took a lot of courage for me to do that, because I thought he'd laugh at me or anything like that, but then he was just totally shocked.
When you told him that you forgave him for
he says, why would you do that? I says, if I don't do that, I says, you will be, you know, haunt me for the rest of my life. It was so bad because when my kids were in track and field, and we were at the Cass track and field, and somebody from high school met me there and says, "Oh, Freda, you haven't changed a bit." In the meantime, you know, I had long blonde hair, and that I didn't realize that it impacted me that much, where the next time I cut my hair short. That's when I realized it still had a huge impact, even throughout, you know, 30 years later. Are you kidding me? You know, it still was deep inside. So from that point on, overcoming my giants, going to him, telling him, "I forgive you."
For raping me.
Yeah, that was brutal. And then that gave me a sense of peace. But then there was one more huge piece that I needed to do, and I had to go to my ex-husband, and I had to ask for forgiveness. I had to tell him the truth, you know, about myself, about different issues and that. And then when he said that he held no ill malice or no
hard feelings.
nothing at all,
you.
and that, you know what, I just walked, and it just gave me so much peace, where I thought, you know, now I can become who I'm supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened, I'm going to go back to where my sewing was. So when I enjoyed what I was doing, I set goals for myself, because I wanted to reward myself, because I thought I deserve it. You know, I believed in myself, what I was doing with sewing, believed in myself, talking with people, encouraging people, joining women's group, and that my whole outlook in life totally changed, to the point where I says, you know what, I want a boat.
A boat.
A boat.
What kind of a boat, Freda?
We had a 19-foot prowler. Mm-hmm. Well, it grew to 28-foot rinker. So
this is a motorboat.
It's a boat. We sleep on it and that. And every weekend, I just cherish, because I did something myself to, you know, to do something that was wonderful for a change in life. You know what? And it just opened up my whole spirit. And the other thing was that I started to become more grateful, and not dwell on the negative things and that, because, you know, it just eats away at you. I rather dwell on the positive, the gratitude, the blessings you have, and look forward in your life. And that's what I was wanted to do, to help people. And that's what I enjoy.
So your sewing,
yes,
was directed towards buying that boat.
Correct.
Yes. And now you have the boat. Mm-hmm. And what's next for you?
What's next for me? My goal is to have my full-time job that I'm doing now at Blinds Depot, making custom-made window treatments, advertising there. Sorry. To have that my part-time job and do my sewing my full-time job. That is my goal. I want to be able to teach children, you know, teach teenagers how to do alterations the proper way, because there's not that many seamstresses out there that know how to do a really good job, you know, and be confident in doing that. So that's what I wanted to really do.
Well, Freda, thank you so much for being with us today. I know there are women in our audience who will have taken heart hearing your story.
Thank you very much, Ann.
And now, a few words of wisdom from a wonderful, wacky, one-of-a-kind woman, Jezebel Peppa, who will share with us her thoughts on the themes of today's episode.
Hello, darlings. Jezebel Peppa here. Have you asked yourself if you are a woman of courage? I hope if you did, that you had your answer as a resounding yes. You have all the strength you need in you to get through any crisis. I'm going to prove it to you. Close your eyes. No peeking. Close your eyes. I want you to think of a loved one, someone that you love with all your heart. How good that feels. Now think about someone who's about to hurt them, or think about them about to be hurt. How do you feel now? Can you feel that fire coming up in you? That, oh, no, you don't attitude. How far would you go to protect them? That's the strength that you can tap into anytime you want to. A woman of courage knows three things for sure. First of all, believe in something bigger than yourself and know that it will guide you. Second, know that you don't have to go through any storm alone. The 3 little words, "I need help," may be the most courageous words that ever go through your lips. And finally, know that you deserve the strength and the protection that you would give to your loved ones. You deserve that for yourself. So celebrate the fact that you are a woman of courage, and remember to celebrate the Jezebel in you.
Here's a self-defense technique you can learn in less than a minute. We're looking at a crossover wrist grab. Person grabs your wrist. I'm concerned about him throwing this punch to my head. So I get my hand up, protecting my head. What I do not want to do as soon as a person grabs me is create a tug of war. Biggest person is going to win. So I need to escape through the weakest point of his grip. So from here, I'm going to step off to his side, his free side. So as I do so, I'm going to bring my hands up. Both palms facing away, protecting my head and my upper body. From here, I'm going to push in the back of his tricep and his forearm, pushing across his body, freeing myself and giving me room to escape. We're going to look at that one more time and a little quicker now. Grabs your wrist, hand is up, step free, push to safety. There's one more technique to help keep you safe.
If I were brave.
Every guest on Women of Courage takes home with her a beautiful arrangement from Fernley Flowers and an autographed copy of my book, Succeeding in Spite of Everything. Remember, in every setback lies opportunity. Opportunity for you to call upon all that you have learned through your personal experience and from that of others. To rely on your core beliefs and values. To find your way through to new opportunities, and to succeed in spite of everything. Until next time, be courageous.
If I were brave, what would I do today? If I were brave, what would I do today? If I were brave. If I refused to listen to the voice of fear, with the voice of courage whisper in my ear. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge where fools and dreams.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line at 519-660-7548 or email us with your comments.
Hello, bonjour, Ani, bonjour. I'm Kathleen Wynne. I want to wish everyone in the province a very happy Canada Day. I know there are many wonderful events planned in communities across Ontario, so let's all take this opportunity to celebrate our diversity, our rich history, and our bright future. Please enjoy this time with your friends, neighbors, and family, and I hope you have a safe and happy Canada Day. Thank you, merci, miigwech.